So a small update for those that are waiting for a BX1, the NP-BX1 used by these sound devices. The charger for it, of course. A few things changed. If we look at a normal NP50 charger, this is one, still needs to be cleaned up. It's gonna be a little bit bigger than this. And I can show you why, because just the holders, just like you see here, are of a thicker material, and it doesn't even include the spacers. So that's why it's gonna be a bit bigger. This battery is a bit longer as well, and I want to support it a little bit more up high. It's not that much. If you look at it right now, it looks about the same height, but this piece of plastic has feet to raise it off from the table to it sounds weird, but to inhale some fresh air. It needs some cooling, so it's gonna be sitting a little bit higher. So unfortunately for me, since I have to make all these parts, it's not the exact same size, so I cannot reuse any material, but you know, that's how it is. I mean, I really, I'm stoked about doing this because I enjoy it very much. Took me a while, but when you get going, it's a lot of fun. So these are the holders, but in this case, normally, or at least in my previous chargers, they were held by these fingers. In this case, it's not gonna be that way because it's rounded off, these BX1s. This is not very nice. If you clamp it from this side, it's not very nice. It doesn't feel good at all. And it tries to, you know, wiggle free. Another thing is that, of course, batteries do not match materials I have. So this battery is, of course, a little bit thinner than this material. So I thought I'll do it differently this time, and maybe I'll ever use it for the NP50s as well. Not sure yet, because that, you know, I sold more than 150 or 140 of those chargers, so yeah, people like them, so you know, why change something that is working as it is? But who knows. Anyhow, this is what I made so far. These are some test pieces. I would like a little bit more room here, because I got two batteries here. This one is a little bit more snug than this one in this direction. And I know these batteries are not produced with the highest tolerances, so this will be a bit wider. This is gonna be a test piece for me, and it will end up as a discharger for me. Same goes. Here is a one for NP50s. I'll test every charger I make at least once and measure all the batteries if it charged according to my specs. But then I have to discharge all those batteries as well. So this thing will end up as a discharger for me. But yeah, first I'm gonna make a charger of it, and then it's gonna be a discharger. The electronics, I made new electronics especially for this charger because, well, it is wider. It's wider if you compare it to... Let me grab one real quick. NP50. And that's because the material width is also wider. So if you want the lights to align, yeah, you have to change the whole electronics, unfortunately, but it's okay. The only downside is that they forgot an item. They forgot a resistor on this, which is kind of weird. Maybe I forgot. I mean, it was there, but they could not find it, and I approved it and didn't see it was missing. So, well, in the end, you could say it's my fault. Well, I have those resistors, so for now I got 2 or 10 or 20 that I can use for testing, so that's good. And how it's gonna look and work is gonna be a bit like this, the light guides, the same story. It's a pretty clamping mechanism. So if we just take like a few of these, I'm gonna sandwich one of these in, which have these hard to see erased piece here. It's gonna act like a spring. Gonna sit like this, then like this. And we need a hard surface on the end of it and on the beginning. These are pieces of the normal NP50 charger, so it's not gonna fit perfectly. But the idea is gonna be, well, you will see what the idea is, of course. So hopefully we can just do it like this. Oh, there's still plastic on here as well. Let's switch it over. So this is not something that looks good or something. This is just a proof of concept. Not completely. I mean, I'm pretty, yeah, I would say not almost there. I have to make a lot of pieces still because, as I said, the size is quite different. Not by much, but enough to not be able to use the same components. And this is always so it's standing crooked because this piece has feet and this one does not. But that's okay. But yeah, the sliding action is really, I kind of like it. And they line up as well. A problem I had with my NP50 chargers, it's not a real problem. I mean, it looks neater if it lines up. That's the only thing. I mean, it functions the same. But if I have a choice, I would like them to line up automatically because it looks neater. So yeah, that's... So this one is a bit thicker. So I have to compensate for that. Now, question is, they do not drop out on their own. I bet I can like throw them out, maybe. This one moved a tiny bit. That was well, that's like 0.5 millimeter or something. Not much at all. But I don't expect you to do this. I hope not, at least. But yeah, so by the end of this week, I hope I'll have a finished one and we can see how it works, the lights work, etc. And I'll test some charging cycles, of course. I bought a lot of these. People know this brand, I think, by now, because that's I think the one that sold these very cheap USB NP50 chargers that work every now and then. I use these for test batteries because, well, as a battery, they do not hold a lot of charge. At least the NP50s are rather shitty. 700 milliampere, I believe, which is, if you compare to the Electro, etc., is like almost half, which is very bad. About this one, I don't know. It says 1,000, and I must say the NP50s were very clear on only having 50, I believe. Or 750, I mean, sorry. 750. And they came very close. I charged them when they were new and discharged them and used a counter. And it was like in between 740 and 760 or something. So what's on there is correct, but 750 is not enough for most of you guys. So we're still looking for the best NP50 battery that is still affordable, which I'm afraid we cannot find except at some companies that sell them already, but rather expensive. Here you get quite a lot. I mean, if you have enough on 1000 milliamperes or 1 ampere hour, I bet they will get close. I'll measure them and post something because it might be of interest for people that are... I don't know how much they consume these sound devices, but if you can have like a more than half a day with a cheap battery, I don't know. I mean, this is like 6 times cheaper than a regular. So I don't know. Anyhow, yeah, I'm pleased with this. I made some, you would say, what the fuck's this? But this is a template for me to drill the holes where the pogo pins will sit. This one is just only for this tester because I will change some things again. So I can add pogo pins. I thought it would be funny to show you. These are testers only to test the springiness and what kind of springiness I want. Especially how to do it the same all the time, because that's what we want. We want them to look and feel the same. I cannot make it feel the same for every battery because they are not the same. But at least try to get it as the same as possible for one and the same battery. Even these are not all the same. So there will be difference, but of course they need to be held at least. That it feels a little bit different, that's no problem, but they should held in the charger, be held. Anyhow, yeah, I thought I'll do this instead of a picture. And if you have interest in these kind of chargers when they're done, it will help me at least. It's helpful for me if I see a list with people that are interested. I did this before with the NP-50, and it was very nice to work like that, because then I can just pump them out, or at least, you know, go a little bit extra miles to make it possible as fast as possible. And maybe change stuff if people have ideas that I am able to change, since it's not a production unit for me, at least yet. So, see you around. Bye bye.